All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for your patience. Before we start, I just want to let you know that this session will mostly be in English, so if you need interpretation, please go get a headset.
أسعد الله صباحكم جميعا. معظم اللقاء حيكون باللغة الإنجليزية لمن يريد ترجمة ما عدا أنا هحكي باللغة العربية. فلمن يريد ترجمة بيستطيع يأخذ المترجم.
Thank you. So, we're here today to talk about cross-country knowledge exchange. And I'm quickly going to go through part of what we're going to do here. We're going to have a slightly shorter session than planned. Could I please have the presentation on the screen here in front? Great, thank you so much. So, we're going to talk about knowledge management and knowledge sharing. I'm going to give you a very brief introduction of Land at Scale, which is the program that has brought all of us together here today. I'm going to mention knowledge management in Land at Scale. And then the most important part, I'm going to hand over the floor to my colleagues here on stage with me. And hopefully, since we have a small group, I hope you will also share your thoughts with us and ask questions. We have a few house rules. And this is for my colleagues. When I give you the floor, please introduce yourself. Same, if you ask a question, please introduce yourself. Let's stick within the time frame that we've agreed. And during the Q&A, use it to ask questions. We're more than happy to continue engaging with you afterwards and have a conversation, but the Q&A is really for the curious, so for the questions. So the first question was how familiar you are with knowledge management. And I think I can answer for all of us here that we're quite familiar by this stage. We've been working together for anywhere between 2.5 years and half a year or something like that, I think. Yeah. The other question we had was if you want to share a word that you relate to knowledge management. Federica, I'm looking at you. What's the word that you relate to knowledge management? It's on.
It's on. I think it would be sharing, learning from others and exchanging information to make our programming better.
Thank you. Dr. Thamin, what's the word that you relate to knowledge management?
Knowledge management is the knowledge that you are gaining through, in our case, the implementation of different kind of activities in order to achieve goals, and how to transfer this knowledge in sustainable manner to the upcoming generations.
Thank you. All right. So that's just an example. We're going to go into more detail. But first, I want to say a few words about Land at Scale. So Land at Scale is a program focusing on and having the objective of just and fair land governance. It is supported by the government of the Netherlands through their enterprise agency, RVO. It has a budget of 37.5 million euros over 7 years. And it spans 12 countries, from Colombia in the west to Iraq in the east. And with us here today, we have 4 country partners from these countries who are attending the 3rd Arab Land Conference together. But this is very much the outline, so I'm also going to make sure that I haven't missed anything essential and check with Eva, who's here with us from RVO. Do you want to add something?
I think you were pretty complete. I'm really interested to dive into the different country projects, actually.
Right. Thank you. Yes. So this leads us into why we're really here, to hear the experience of the 4 country partners that we have with us here today in working with knowledge management, both in their own country, but also across different countries. So first, we're going to hear from Ahmed. No, first I'm going to say something of the knowledge management component within Land at Scale. Apologies. In short, knowledge management comes in many different shapes, and it has to, because we work in 12 different countries who are vastly different in their country contexts. And in order for knowledge management to be useful, it has to be flexible. To shift between what is needed in Palestine is not the same necessarily for what is needed in Burkina Faso or in Somalia, for example. And within the component, there are different tools. So the partners work with a learning and reflection partner. And together we do workshops, write-shops, where we produce knowledge or where we capture knowledge and turn that into shareable products. But there's also academic partners that are accompanying us, and you will hear more about that in one of our presentations. And we also work with other partners in order to disseminate the knowledge that is being generated through the projects in the different countries. And that includes, for example, Land Portal, who's also a partner of this conference. Now, it is time for me to hand over to Ahmed.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ahmed Meher. I'm the Land Use Consolidation Advisor at a project called Agriculture Innovation Project that's implemented by GIZ Egypt. I'm going to talk about the participatory land use consolidation for climate resilience and inclusive business models. We need some context regarding the land use consolidation. We have a large portion of fragmented land due to the smallholder farmers and the inheritance that has been done since the 50s and 60s. We have a very growing population. We have reached more than 104 million. The land, cultivated land, is very limited for the time being, which is represents around 4% of the land. For the problem analysis of what we are facing, we have both. When we go for land use consolidation, we need to have a consequence build-up of the land use consolidation. That needs, we don't need a top-down or a bottom-up approaches. We need to merge the both context within with each other, work with farmers and know what the problems, and work with the on the governorate levels in order to be aware about the systematic approach of the land use consolidation in order to establish a well-established LUC in the communities. There is a lack of knowledge between farmers about land use consolidation. This is what we are working upon, how to be systematic, how to be a business to conduct a business model for that. And the commitment of farmers is also a question and crucial for the process of land use consolidation in agriculture. There will be high initial investment to conduct the land use consolidation, which is one of the challenges. The current framework needs to adopt the approach of farming as a business and how farms could be business models and increase the benefits for farmers and the incomes. There is a gap between the private sector and smallholder farmers. Next, please. We had a cycle of the sustainability mechanisms that we are going to go through. We are going to have, as we mentioned, the LUC is a process, and we need to build up about that. We have the initiation phase to disseminate make the people of farmers aware about the land use consolidation how to form that, build the relationships between farmers, and establish trust between the farmers groups, and then encourage them and ensure their buy-in for the concept. The inception phase is to identify conflicts, what types of conflicts, the risks that can accompany the establishment of LUC, clarity of roles and responsibilities within the LUC, land use consolidation groups, and encourage communication and transparency between the groups. Then we go for the harmonization phase, which is assess the LUC periodically and the group functionality, and solve problems within the groups that has been established. There will be a strong sense of belonging to the group and be a member in these groups, and establishment of rules and responsibilities afterwards, after clarifying the roles. Then we reach the maturity phase, which is collaborate and reward successes, group recognition. They are well recognized within the community, and the prototype of the success they have done, and achievement of objectives within the group, and gaining the income increase, and then they're learning the process and replicating the model.
I realized that I was rushing us a little bit because we have to adapt the program slightly. So I forgot to ask you to introduce yourself and your role within the program. Would you mind doing that even now at the tail end? Which organization?
I did in the first. So again, I'm Ahmed Meher. I am the Land Use Consolidation Advisor at AIP, the Agriculture Innovation Project, a GIZ funded project in Egypt.
Thank you very much. And let's not do the same mistake with Federica. So Federica, who's going to talk to us a little bit about her experience of working with academic partners within knowledge management in land at scale. So Federica, please introduce yourself and your role within your program before you continue.
Thank you, Rebecca. I'm Federica Acquaviva. I work for IOM Somalia on a program that is named Samienta. It's a joint program between IOM, UN Habitat, and UNDP that aims to find durable solution to internal displacement through a structured approach based on land governance. As Rebecca was saying, we engaged with RVO KIT and our knowledge management partner in a longitudinal study that delves into the link between displacement dynamics and land governance and tenure security. As our program is focused on land governance, but broader than that, encompassing also livelihood intervention, service delivery, and many more activities, we really wanted, together with our knowledge management partner, to understand what role tenure security plays in the life of displacement-affected communities, and how much is it a way to, for these people to receive tenure security to go out of their displacement status. So this longitudinal study takes place in a small coastal town that is called Bosaso. There are 120,000 people in protracted displacement living in there since the aftermath of the civil war in Somalia in the 90s. They usually live in IDP camps, settling on private land, and then they face secondary displacement due to eviction in case they are not able to pay rent. So what we did are 2 rounds of data collection and data analysis done by an academic researcher that was made us available through RVO and Land Scale. So our researcher went into the field together with the program team and just did interviews to assess the effectiveness of intervention over time, and to see what role tenure security plays into the life of displacement affected communities. So if you can go to the next slide. Thanks. Findings were very interesting in the sense that, as expected, a lot of people, a lot of IDPs, internally displaced people, realize that having a house, having land to settle in is really key to go out of displacement, in the sense that they can invest into building a better life once they have this plot of land. At the same time, in the second round of data collection, we broadened the scope of the research, interviewing also, for for example, host community member or other stakeholders like landowners of these IDP camps. And we really came into the realization that tenure security is key for IDPs, but is key for host communities as well. A lot of people living in Bosaso face the same challenges in different spaces, right? So what defines displacement sometimes is not the internationally semi-agreed definition of coming from another place within the borders of the country and being forcibly forced to leave. But sometimes it's just, okay, you're an IDP because you live in this camp and you don't have access to services. So this made us realizing that a structured approach to land governance must target the city itself and building the capacity of the government and of the municipality to advance registration and land governance, land administration citywide to ensure that everybody can follow the same pattern and develop with a stable land and a nice house in the city.
Great, thank you so much. And I realized I made a big faux pas because I did not introduce myself when I started. My name is Rebecca Hallen. I work at KIT, the Royal Tropical Institute in Amsterdam, and I have the honor to be the focal point for knowledge management as a part of Land at Scale, working with all the colleagues here on stage. And with that, I would like to hand over to Javier, who's going to talk about how the impact of knowledge exchange has affected programming in Iraq. So, Javier, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Rebecca. My name is Javier Prieto. I am the program manager for 2 projects in Iraq related to land, housing, and property rights. But I will tell you more about myself in a minute because I'm not here to explain to you the project itself that I'm implementing in Iraq with all the difficulties that we have and all that. I'm sure that here most of you are aware about land management and all the components that a project has, so I'm going to talk about myself. When I was a little, I always knew what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a land management or land administration specialist. So I remember seeing my father in the studio. He was a urban planner, and he had a big studio with big tables, with big maps. And his colleagues, they were all drafting very nice, draft with hand straight lines, at hand writing, and it was very nice. So I asked my father, what is this? And he said, I'm a urban planner, I'm a territory development. So I wanted to be like that. I thought that was cool. So he told me, well, you have to learn. So I went to school. I managed to graduate in civil engineering. I did postgraduate studies in the topography and also in the land valuation and international cadastre. So I did all this learning, and I started working implementing projects in land management. So I started doing cartography in Latin America. I remember doing a big project. We did the all cartography of Mexico City, 20 million inhabitants in Mexico, all the cartography, all the mapping. So, but project, when I started, well, I was in Mexico, Venezuela, Costa Rica. We were coordinating the registration with the cadastre in Costa Rica, also very complex project. So all these projects, they have project documents where you read the project documents. They have very nice project plans. They have a very nice stakeholder analysis. They have very nice project KPIs, project indicators. They have also many aspects of the project. So with the knowledge, I have to apply, I have to become with my plan and implement the project. And this has become my profession. But when I joined the knowledge management group, I learned that it's not only about what I know. it's exposing myself and explaining myself complex issues of project implementation to other partners with critical thinking that are specialists, that brings to me the possibility to think beyond the project scope. It's not only about implementing results right now or making changes. It's about making these changes to be sustained and to be lasting, because it's not implementation project. Like I say, you could have the knowledge, but if you don't go through this process, maybe you don't come up with some aspects. So I learned that it's not about preparation, it's about to be adaptable, to be open and ready to learn from others, and think beyond the project implementation aspects and the technicalities and all that. So if you can pass the next slide, that changed my view. And in the project that we are implementing in Iraq, we went beyond making changes right now. And our strategy right now is, or the goal is not immediate success. The goal is creating this impact to last, because for example, granting titles to women is a major step, and we are doing that in Iraq. But we don't know what is going to happen next. So, and also the technology that we are using in Iraq, we are collecting the data with a tool that is developed by UN Habitat. Well, it's a GLTN tool, it's STDM, and we are collecting this, and now we are thinking what to do with this technology. So we introduced the sustainability, and our strategy now is not the immediate success, but the long-lasting changes in Iraq. So I learned that through the knowledge management, let's say, sharing experiences. So that's about all from my presentation.
Bueno, muchas gracias, Javier. Thank you so much. Next, we'll go to Palestine and Dr. Mohammed, who will explain different ways of integrating knowledge management to ensure sustainability beyond the project and how it all started. So, Dr. Mohammed, could you please introduce yourself?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm Mohammed Al-Salami. I'm from Land Research Center. It's a non-governmental organization in Palestine. Due to the fact that we are here in the third program and on the third Arab Land Initiative conference, I will shift to speak in Arabic. So, يسعد أوقاتكم جميعا. I will give 30 seconds just to... Yes, okay. نحن جينا يعني أنا بكون مانجر لمشروع بدأ تحت مسمى تحسين حوكمة الأراضي للمزارعين الفلسطينيين، ويهدف هذا المشروع إلى تقوية الحيازات الآمنة لأراضي المزارعين الفلسطينيين والنساء في المناطق المصنفة جيم، وحسب التصنيفات اللي قد تكون معروفة للجميع. تظهر حقيقة فلسطين بنظام تسجيل أراضي وإدارة أراضي زاخر وغني جدا، لأنه ما هو موجود هو مرور 5 حقب زمنية مختلفة فيما يتعلق بتسجيل الأراضي وإدارتها في فلسطين. هذا أكسبنا حقيقة أن نتعامل مع 5 أنظمة تسجيل وإدارة أراضي مختلفة، ابتداء من العهد العثماني ومرورا بالانتداب البريطاني ومرورا بالانتداب الأردني على فلسطين، ومن ثم الاحتلال الإسرائيلي، وأخيرا نظام تسوية الأراضي والمياه الفلسطيني. فهذا أكسبنا حقيقة خبرة واسعة، فتح لنا المجال أكثر أن نتعلم أكثر ونشارك معارفنا مع الآخرين. فبدأت فكرة المعارف بجمع كل ما يتعلق بكل نظام من هذه الأنظمة وفهمه بطريقة صحيحة وتمريره إلى الأجيال. بدأنا على مستوى التجمعات السكانية في البداية، وكان هنالك مجموعة من الأدوات اللي استخدمناها في اللقاءات مع ذوي العلاقة، خاصة المزارعين والمزارعات، القياديين الرياديين في التجمعات الفلسطينية خاصة المهمشة. ومن ثم رحنا للليفل الثاني وهو الكي بيرسونز وأئمة المساجد، ورحنا للسي بي اوز والسي اس اوز والكوبراتيفز، كلهم كانوا حاضرين. ومن ثم طلعنا للليفل اللي بعده وهو الليفل الاستراتيجي بالتعاون مع أجسام الحكومة بشكلها الكامل. وكان هناك تركيز بشكل واضح في إعطاء المعلومة بطريقة صحيحة وبناء المعلومة. كان هنالك التارجت لأنه هو توحيد المفاهيم ضمن هذا التعقيد في الخمس حقب اللي ما زالت تستخدم في فلسطين. فجزء من هذه القوانين تسجيل الأراضي وإدارتها، جزء منها بني لأغراض استعمارية، جزء منها بني لتثبيت الحقوق، وهي متناقضة في بعض القوانين مع بعضها. فكان مهمتنا مش سهلة، ليست بسهلة، لأن نرفع المستوى المعرفي للناس. Next, please. فكان بدأنا نروح باتجاه الجامعات الفلسطينية، ومن هان دخلنا على قضايا لها علاقة بالجوانب الحقوقية حتى نضفي ونضيف المعلومات والبيانات المتعلقة بحقوقنا في الأرض وآليات التسجيل وأنظمة التسجيل بشكل كامل لطلبة كليات الحقوق، خاصة في الجامعات الفلسطينية اللي تحتوي على القانون ككليات وتعطى في 7 جامعات فلسطينية. بدأنا بتطوير بعض المناهج اللي تتحدث عن قوانين الأراضي بشكل خاص. بنينا كورسات متخصصة للمهندسين، للسيرفيرز وللمحاميين في هذا الجانب، ورفعنا من المستوى المعرفي لديهم في تنفيذ آليات التسجيل بطريقة صحيحة. Next please. والآن بدأنا أيضا بتحديد بعض العناوين رسائل ماجستير. دخلنا جزء من موظفي الدولة، موظفين السلطة الفلسطينية ودولة فلسطين، خاصة في ما يتعلق بهيئة تسوية الأراضي والمياه وسلطة الأراضي الفلسطينية. أخذنا الموظفين من هناك وبنينا برنامج ماجستير في جامعة القدس بالشراكة ليتحدث عن هذا الموضوع بطريقة صحيحة. وحددنا مجموعة من المواضيع ذات العلاقة بالكونتكست الفلسطيني، سواء في كيفية التسجيل الأراضي وإدارتها بشكل كامل. وهذا ما نطمح فيه، إنه يعني زميلي دكتور تامين بعد شوي يتحدث عن وين إحنا رايحين بإذن الله في هذا السياق. شكرا لكم وشكرا وآسف على الإطالة.
Thank you so much. And we're going to do a little change in the order. So I'm going to give the floor to Dr. Thamin now to continue, and then we're going to go to you, Eva. And then we're going to have questions if there are any in the audience.
Okay, fine.
So here we are.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Thamin.
So, Thamin Hijawi. I'm the technical advisor to the Dutch-funded project, which is in the course of agriculture. At the same time, I'm a lecturer at Al-Quds University in Jerusalem, Palestine. And now, so again, to return back to the knowledge that we are gaining and why our context is different. So Dr. Muhammad, he was talking about 5 different kind of systems, but it's in fact 6, because the 6th system is the Egyptian system in Gaza. So, and this is still a valid system and the most concrete system that where you could have information from until now. Anyway, so the knowledge that we were gaining through the project, through the implementation of the activities of the project, the knowledge that we were getting through the lawyers that they were taking the care of the registration of the information and to get the accreditation to the farmers or the land titles to the farmers. Knowledge were upcoming also from the farmers themselves, from the individuals, from CBOs. Then as Dr. Muhammad mentioned, from also when we were giving workshops or trying to do knowledge transfer, also knowledge were gained through the students, through the teachers at the universities. At the same time, we have the knowledge management institutions that's part of the Land at Scale program. Also, they have their experience to advise us how to manage the knowledge that we have. So now what we are doing, we are trying to have all different kind of knowledge from different kind of sources and to design it in a suitable manner to be taught for school students, so it's, and at the same time for university students. And now we are designing a specialized master program in order to transfer this knowledge. So this master program, what we do hope that this will be a cross-border master program where at the beginning we are going to start with the Land at Scale partners, but at the same time we would like to hope to have much more partners whom they would like to exchange and to they are need for the knowledge that we gained through the implementation of the Land at Scale project. So this knowledge that's where it treated or taking consideration the Ottoman time, British Mandate time, Jordanian, Egyptian. So this is in a way or either this is like a cross-cutting issue between different countries because under the Ottoman government there were like 28 countries until, under British Mandate. Yani most of the countries were under Ottoman government, so became part of the British Mandate. So there are an experience to be exchanged, and this will be part of the master program that we are looking forward to design and to exchange the cross-border master program in order to exchange the knowledge and how to use the different kind of documentation from Ottoman time, British Mandate, for the use and the purpose of the land registration and giving the land rights to the women. I do hope I made it clear.
Shukran jazilan. And now, and I think this is going to be our last intervention because time is running short. So we're going to go back and I'm going to give the floor to Eva, who will share with us some of the reasoning for including a knowledge management component from a donor perspective. Eva, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, and good morning. My name is Eva Ossendorp. I work for the Netherlands Enterprise Agency, which is abbreviated to RVO, and this is part of the Dutch government. So we're an implementing agency for multiple ministries, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So the financing which we speak of is originally coming from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands. So when we were thinking of this program back in 2018 in the development, we quickly came to the conclusion that it's important to also include a specific component on knowledge management. How did we do this from the start is firstly we came also to the conclusion you actually need to put money aside for this and also partners that are specifically focused on working on this. It can't be something that you expect implicitly to happen in projects. It has to be something that you facilitate and you support in a very structured manner. So this is actually based on the principles of reflexive monitoring, which is a way of structuring learning within your projects, across projects, and with the broader land community, but also much broader than that. So we did so with mainly in mind the ability to actually adapt the programming along the way. So when you're working on knowledge management, I would really state that you have to be flexible along the way because you're going to come to the conclusion that things were not as you expected and you need to change direction. So this also means from us as maybe the donor perspective, it also means you have to be willing to change route and to change your targets or to add different strategies. So this is one very important condition also to be able to really push this forward. Secondly, we really do believe that knowledge management facilitates the scaling of impact within the projects, so the individual country projects, which we've heard a couple of examples of today, and to share and facilitate learning exchange between. One of the more maybe Dutch-oriented reasons why we did so is that a lot of the programming was actually coming from decentral funding, so facilitated by the different embassy projects. But there was a little exchange actually happening between the different country projects across the different embassies. So this meant that a lot of learnings and a lot of innovative approaches got lost along the way. So in this way, we also hope that this is a more central effort to bring this knowledge together, and also to then work more on innovative approaches. How is it structured? Really shortly. I can also explain this a little bit more if people are interested in a break, so please know where to find me. We structure 10% of the total budget, so this is 3.7.5 approximately million, goes specifically to knowledge management, which is for reflection within the country projects. This is facilitating learning exchanges both regionally and globally. So we have a yearly knowledge exchange, and on Friday we'll actually stick around to have a more in-depth reflection with the partners that are here today. Additionally, we facilitate research in countries, across countries, with academic partners, in longitudinal studies like the example that Federica was sharing from Somalia, knowledge cafes, which are informal exchanges online across partners, which partners can bring questions that they go, I'm really interested to hear a bit more on land use consolidation. Can you tell me more? This is not something I'm familiar with. And then we have informal exchanges online to facilitate participation from around the world. Webinars, which are facilitated by Land Portal. So in this, partnerships are extremely, extremely important. To name a few, KIT, so from where Rebecca is also working from. Landak, which is the academic network in the Netherlands working on land specifically, which also facilitates the Land Governance School, which I think some of you have probably participated in as well. Land Portal, and of course the Arab Land Initiative is one of our more recent partners. So we're very happy to be here and to participate in this way as well. So maybe to really conclude, so who is it for? It's not only for the partners, it's not only for us as the Netherlands to also learn from what's going on in land governance, it's also to give back and to receive and to make sure that this network is really facilitated. So if you want to know more on how we facilitate the actual governance structure and who we give what roles, know where to find me.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And one thing that I took particular note of was the fact that you mentioned that even though before there were programs under different Dutch embassies, but there was still a lack of knowledge exchange. So without the commitment, the explicit commitment to knowledge management, and commitment also means resources, which in this case has been dedicated, this is often a part that's forgotten. So that's also an interesting point, I think. And as you can see from what you've heard here today, there are many different entry points to why knowledge management and sharing has been included in a land governance program, such as Land at Scale. And that it also captures the variety of the 12 different countries and then bringing them together. So now we're here with 4 partners, but as Eva mentioned, once a year, all the 12 partners from all the countries are being brought together. And that has been done in different locations, from the Netherlands to Uganda to this year in Colombia. So it also gives the possibility for practitioners who are really skilled and knowledgeable and experienced in their different contexts to meet and see other experiences within the same program, but in a different context. So it's also a way of making the knowledge generated in the program sustainable. So it's not only the 7-year period, 5-year period, whatever period it might be, but this is something that should be integrated moving forward. We now have 4 minutes left, and I would like everyone to reflect on a word that you will take with you from today's session. And I would like to hear from Ahmed. What's the word that you would take with you from today?
the word is process mapping in order to share knowledge.
Javier.
I have 2 words, being open.
Being open. Thank you. Federica?
I would say focus on learning.
Thank you. Dr. Mohammed?
I will say management of the knowledge is crucial for succeed.
Thank you. Dr. Thamin?
Knowledge is an essential asset that we should make use.
And Eva?
Dedication.
Great. That is it for us today. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And please don't hesitate to grab us if you want to know more. And keep enjoying the conference. Have a nice rest of your day. Thank you.